court orders upward review of judges' salary. Correspondent reports on World Youth Skills Day. With the new COVID-19 wave, we have a specialist on how to further curb the transmission of the disease. And on the foreign scene, Chad sets August for national dialogue, including armed groups.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening, you listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 15th of July 2022, which is equivalent to the 16th of Dhul Hijjah, 1443 after Hijri. Now the news in full. The National Industrial Court of Nigeria, NICN, in Abuja today ordered a substantial increment in the salaries of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, and other Nigerian judges. The trial judge, Osa Tohanwen Obaseki Osage, gave this order in the judgment, saying the judges have been victims of great injustice and describing their poor salaries as a national shame. The judgment followed a suit filed by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Sebastian Hon, seeking an upward review of the emolument and salaries of judges in the country. The salaries of Nigerian judges have remained stagnant since 2008, when they were last reviewed. Mr. Han sought, among others, in the suit, an order compelling the National Assembly, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to increase the salaries and allowances of judges in the country. She ordered that the judgment is to be served on the second defendant, Attorney General of the Federation, immediately, criticizing the Justice Minister Abubakar Malami for arguing that judges have no legal right to have their salaries reviewed upwards. The United Nations General Assembly has declared 15th of July as World Youth Skills Day to celebrate the strategic importance of equipping young people with skills for employment, decent work, and entrepreneurship. Safara Tijani Adam has details of this.
Matasa masu fasahar kirkira musamman a yankin Arewa na ci gaba da kokawa kan matsalar da suke fuskanta a yanzu na barin su haka kawai ba tare da an ba su tallafi ko kuma.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. On the sporting arena, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the Super Falcons of Nigeria after they qualified for the 2023 Women's Cup with a victory over Cameroon at the ongoing Women's Cup of Nations in Casablanca, Morocco. Mamusan Oba has details of this and other sports updates.
The record 9-time title winner Super Falcons of Nigeria defeated Cameroon's 1-0 last night and are now set to face host Morocco in the semi-finals. In a statement signed by Special Advisor on Media to the President, Femi Adesina, President Muhammadu Buhari lauded the spirited performance of the Super Falcons for maintaining their standing as defending champions and the most successful women's football team in Africa. Having won the tournament twice in 2016 and 2018 under his administration, assured the players and their handlers that the whole nation was strongly standing with them and will continue to cheer them on until the final whistle in Morocco. Meanwhile, Super Falcons duo of Barcelona striker Azizat Oshola and Gift Monday of FC Robo were named in the final shortlist of candidates in 3 different categories for Africa's Top Women Players Awards. The Confederation of African Football CAF Awards 2022 Gala Night is scheduled to hold next Thursday in Rabat, Morocco. Drawn against Oshola are Ajara Unkot Njoya, Ghislaine Chebak, Andile Lamini, Bambanani Mbani, Christina Thembi Gatlana, Rafilo Jen, and Grace Chanda. Line up against Gift are the quartet of Evelyn Badu, Doris Bowadua, Yasmin Zuhair, and Floris Savessian. Other Nigerian interest in the CAF Award 2022 is the Women's Coach of the Year, where Super Falcons head coach Randy Waldrum will battle 9 others, including 2-time winners Desiree Ellis of South Africa. In another update, no member of the Nigeria Football Federation NFF board was present as Minister of Youth and Sport Development Sunday Dari received the 10-year football development master plan in Abuja yesterday. Following an order from President Muhammadu Buhari, the ministry in September 2021 constituted a 17-man committee, which included the NFF General Secretary Dr. Mohammed Sunusi, to produce a 10-year football development master plan that will ensure youth football development in line with the FIFA's commitment. Meanwhile, while receiving the report submitted by the Alhaji Ibrahim Galadima-led committee in his office at the Mashid Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, Dare assured that the recommendations will not gather dust, as he said the report will be implemented. Moving on to Europe, Barcelona have signed Brazil forward Rafinha from Leeds United in a deal worth up to 55 million euros. Mohammed Sani Uba, Freedom Radio.
The Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. In the past couple of days, the World Health Organization's chief has warned that the coronavirus pandemic is nowhere near over, citing new waves around the world and voicing concern that the virus is running freely. Tedros Ghebreyesus said he was worried that case numbers were continuing to rise and putting further pressure on stretched health system and health workers. With this current worry by the World Health Organization, we've invited Dr. Sabitu Shanunu, Deputy Coordinator of the State Technical Response Team on COVID-19 and a public health specialist, to discuss with us on measures to take due to the new COVID-19 wave and how to further curb its transmission. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
For the past year or so, we have gone through the COVID-19 pandemic and it's still going on. Why is the spread of COVID-19 still persistent?
Well, as you said, in the last 2 to 3 years, COVID-19 came and it has been with us. There was never a time when we said there was no COVID. So what we are seeing now is just an increase in number of cases that have been reported. Over the last 2 years, we have seen cases like this, where the number of cases goes down to the barest minimum, and then you see an upsurge. And this is actually related to so many factors: the environmental factors, the human activities, and also the ability of the coronavirus to actually transform what we call having variants of the virus. So with any change in variant, you tend to have more cases coming up.
So the question I have now is, with the new wave, do you think we would have another variant, another change from the particular variant that we've been suffering from to a new variant that might come up?
Well, for the United States of America, currently they are testing whether there is a variant of the Omicron. You can remember previously we have the Delta variant, and then we had the Omicron, which was also confirmed in Nigeria around December of last year. So currently countries are looking at the possibility of having a variant of that Omicron or another variant. However, in Nigeria, there are no evidence to show that it's a different variant. However, there is definitely an increase in number of cases that we are seeing all over the country.
So the question I do have right now is, how is Nigeria doing, and how is the spread being contained in Nigeria?
We'll say that Nigeria is doing fairly well. regarding the number of cases. If you see countries like in the Far East, and if you take example of the United States, you will see that, for example, in US, you get an average of 1 million cases per week. But in the last 5 days in Nigeria, we had about 350 cases in total, which is actually higher than what we previously used to have. So we'll say that actually Nigeria is doing fairly well in the fight against COVID-19. And if you want to look at what Nigeria is doing specifically, actually there are so many things that are put in place for us to see that we have this little number of cases. One, the issue of our surveillance. We currently are having an enhanced surveillance system for the number of cases. There is what we call the Reduce program, which is actually looking at how to bring down the number of cases by actually identifying them as early as possible, diagnosing them, and putting them in treatment. I will say that in Kano, that has been in place for quite a long time, and we have been having a steady number of cases.
So I would have to go back to Kano, or should I say come back to Kano, with the lift of restrictions and ban on movement, and as well as wearing the mask. People would say, the residents or the locals would say that there's no more coronavirus. What would you tell them, and how would you advise them?
Well, as I said earlier, coronavirus has always been with us from December 2019 till date. There was never a time when we don't have cases at all. But the strategy actually changed. Now what we're looking at is not just the side of the government to put restrictions and this and this and that. Now it is time when we as individuals should take more responsibility of trying to protect ourselves. So even if there are no restrictions, but we need to be wearing our face masks, we need to be avoiding very crowded areas, we need to be attending clinics in case we have some symptoms that are actually showing sign or are depicting cases of COVID. So there are things that are put in place by the government, and there are things that as individuals we take more responsibility to do them. By that, we will still continue to have lower number of cases.
So what you're saying is people should continue to abide by the measures, COVID-19 measures, in protecting themselves, wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, and as well as social distancing as well.
Social distancing, yes.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of this interview. Moving on, Federal High Court in Kano today fixed July 19th to deliver ruling in a motion against the order restraining the Kano State government from borrowing 10 billion naira loan. Reports say that the suit was filed by a coalition of NGOs, Kano First Forum, Director General of the Association, Dr. Yusuf Isiyaka Rabiu, seeking for an order stopping Kano State government from borrowing 10 billion naira. It could be recalled that Justice Abdullahi Liman on July 1st restrained the Kano State government from borrowing 10 billion naira for the installation of closed-circuit television cameras and parties to maintain status quo. The respondents in the suit are Governor of Kano State, Attorney General of Kano State, Commissioner of Finance Kano, and Speaker Kano State House of Assembly. On the foreign scene, the Chadian government says it will hold a national dialogue starting from August 20th, prosecutor to elections promised by interim President Mohamed Idris Deby, who ascended to power following his father's death last year. Deby, who is 38, declared himself head of the Transitional Military Council in April 2021 after his father, Chad's longtime ruler Idris Deby, was killed while visiting troops fighting an armed uprising in the north. Initially, the council said it would oversee an 18-month transition to democratic rule, but it has shown little sign of organizing elections as that deadline nears. And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, and a very great appreciation to our guest, Dr. Sabiti Shanono, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.
Freedom